make a video about joincampaignzero.org because I feel like a lot of people understand that the police force is flawed from, or it was flawed from the start, that it was created to just keep black people down. It literally started as slave patrols, and then when slaves were emancipated, the slave patrols had grown in power so much that instead of just like firing all of these people, they were like, all right, well, you can make sure that that the black people don't break segregation laws. And the police were just told to keep black people in their place, and it's basically we've been slowly stepping back from that. And like this Black Lives Matter movement, all of these protests, and the reason people are saying all cops are bastards and the whole police system needs to go, and we just hard reset, like, it's because it was started wrong. It it started off racist. So that's why we need to just completely reset it. But that being said, this website isn't even asking for a complete reset. It's just asking for 10 policies that will hopefully bring enough change to end police brutality, if not take away a good chunk of it. I think that these are at least a really good start. When you start to look into the facts of all these, it's crazy. And so when you scroll down, you can go to the take action section, and you can see they have this whole chart for all the states, and you can filter through to see what your state has already passed and hasn't passed. And since I live in California, I wanted to see what I should be telling my representatives to vote on or to talk about. And we need five policies put into place. We've got half of them, and it's like we've got some of the good ones, or some of the big ones, like body cams and broken window policing, and limit use of force. But demilitarization, holy cannoli! I'll tell you about that one. So start off community oversight. That basically means that we need people to keep police in check, because right now, whenever a police officer commits a crime, it is investigated by another police department or another like section of the police department. And you know how police are. Blue lives matter. I'm going to stand up for my fellow cop, and the few like good cops aren't calling out the bad cops. So we need community oversight. We need civilian review boards that are in charge of making sure that police are held accountable for what they're doing out in the streets on their job. Like, yeah, other people are held more accountable than police at this point. And next thing we need to pass would be community representation, which would be to make sure that the police forces aren't just a majority white guys, because what happens then is you get a racist police force. You need diverse ideas in there. If you only have one black guy on the force, like, all the white guys are just gonna like, yeah, shut up, dude. And and the few good cop white guys that are there, they might try calling it out, the racism, once in a while, but I bet the racist cop will just be like, oh, it's just a joke, man. Why are you taking it so serious? Whatever. And then they just write it off. And we just have so much racism in our police force that the good cops aren't doing their job. So next thing we need is end for-profit policing, and that one's ridiculous. I was reading an article that they tell you about, and I gotta say, if you scroll down, if you don't know about any of these policies and you want to educate yourself, so that you can educate others better, you can scroll down and you can see they have articles for all of these things already. And I was reading one, how profit incentives influence policing in Ferguson, and it was saying that in 2012 this guy was arrested for stealing a can of beer, and they made him like rent an alcohol bracelet. Oh, well, first off, they also charged for his court appointed attorney, which is supposed to be free. You know, it's one of the basic rights in America is that you get a if you can't afford an attorney, you will be given one. And so they charged him for it, $80. And then they also were charging him to rent an alcohol bracelet. And it was like a startup fee and then a monthly fee and a daily fee. It's crazy. And it was either that or go to prison. And so he took that, or jail. And so he took going to jail. And so we have all these stupid contracts with private companies that police force onto other people as extra charges to pay off bills, and it's stupid. Next thing is demilitarization, and that one I really wanted to look into. And holy cannoli. It is insane how much money Los Angeles spends on their police. They have it divided up on this little section here. Oh yeah, and you can find this by going top of the page, going to solutions, and then if you click on demilitarization, you'll find this this little collection of information. And if you add up all of the Los Angeles police departments, it was like $17.5 million that they spend. And like, look at this one. This is one I wanted to cherry pick and show you. Los Angeles School Police Department. The school police department. They've got 61 5.56 millimeter rifles. Basically 61 M4s. Like, why do you need 61 rifles to protect a school? I mean, I assume that's what the school police force is there for. I don't think they really need that's what the rifles would be there for, I'm assuming. I don't think there would ever be a crime at the school where they need like 61 guns. And even if there was a crime at the school where they needed that many guns, within the rest of the police department, they have about 1,600 guns. So 1,600 assault rifles, I should specify. You know, everybody's got their little sidearm, but then they also have this. They got an M4 sitting in their car as well, and it's like, why do they need that? And then, oh yeah, I got so caught up on the rifles, I totally forgot that there's 3 grenade launchers at the school. Why do they need grenade launchers at a school? Like, it's not even. Oh god, the actual police department is insanely big. I don't. Oh wait, this one was smaller. But oh my gosh, there's some of these where they have so much stuff in there, and it's just like such a long list. You're just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Oh man, like I highly suggest you go onto this little webpage and check what your local police department has. And it's just crazy. Like over in Azusa, where was it? Yeah, Azusa, they have a mine-resistant vehicle. $700,000. Why? Who's laying mines down for the cops in Azusa? I don't know. Yeah, that's just a stupid part of the police force, I think. And the last thing that we need to change, in California at least, the last thing we need to change is we need to change the police union contracts, because right now we have contracts that protect police from being sued and stuff. And they just create barriers for these police being held accountable. And obviously we need to get rid of that. Because it's already a problem that enough police aren't holding other police accountable, but there's also unions that are giving them protections from being held accountable. It's just, that's got to go.